Please rise for invocation by Pastor Nathan Bucher. I said it right? I got it right the first time?
Perfect.
Followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. Father, thank you for this council. Thank you for this city. Thank you for the leaders. We pray for them. We pray for your favor over them and their families. God, we believe tonight, God, that you want unity in our community. God, we pray for that. We're asking for favor. We're asking for your divine intervention. God, would you move upon the hearts of men and keep them together? Bring peace. We pray for our first responders this next couple of weeks with Bike Week. God, watch over them, keep them, and strengthen them. Strengthen their families, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor. Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilmember Ford.
Present.
Councilmember Tremont.
Here.
Councilmember Stiltner.
Here.
Vice Mayor Bastian.
Here.
Mayor Burnett.
I am here and we are ready to roll. Item 4, before we do that, I guess we have an agenda for this evening. May I have a motion for approval for tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have an agenda for the evening. With that, public comments on the consent agenda. Anybody wish to speak to any of the items on the consent agenda? There being none, I took that out of.
Yeah.
May I have an approval of the consent agenda?
Move to approve consent agenda?
Items 6, 7, and 8.
Yes, sir.
All right, we have a motion and a proper second. Call the roll.
Councilmember Ford.
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont.
Yes.
Councilmember Stiltner.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bastian.
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes. Consent agenda is approved. That brings us to the Port Orange Property Development Special Meeting. The council is in temporary recess. And Chase, are you ready?
I am.
Okay.
Thank you. Call the special meeting of the members, board, directors, and design review board of Port Orange Property Development Incorporated to order. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Don Burnett.
Here?
Drew Bastian.
Here.
Scott Stiltner.
Here.
Chase Tremont.
Here.
Marilyn Ford.
Present.
Do I have an objection to the notice of meeting? Hearing no objection, notice is accepted. And we have some new business. Who's presenting? Anybody presenting? Mr. Berman?
Hello, Tim Berman, Community Development. As it's structured with the lease between Palmer and the corporation, basically they are required for the lease to see any site plans that come before or be proposed, have to come before the board for final approval then. So we actually have 2 site plans tonight. We have a site plan for expansion of the parking lot. That'd be 104 spaces. That'd be pushing it back out to the north from the existing parking lot. Has been designed with buffers similar to what's there now. Also, too, we worked quite a bit with the project engineer into preserving a historic oak tree. That's why that parking lot kind of makes that curve in there then. So we were able to keep it consistent with the MDA and the Land Development Code on that side, and that's the first site plan that's being proposed. The second site plan, which is still under review, is the proposal for the building number 4, which was shown on the conceptual plan, which was approved, I think, back in the early 2000s. They're just coming forward with finally the construction of that then. That will consist of the building along with some site improvements, and that will be coming along, later in the year then for our staff to review then. Architecturally, it has basically the renderings show it very consistent with the existing buildings there. So staff has, like I said, reviewed the site plan for the parking lot and has approved the site plan for that, or is ready to approve it then. And then conceptually, we have reviewed the building 4 site plan and have not found anything that objects to the code or the MDA. So we're bringing them both before the board for approval. That way we can move forward with those projects with Palmer. And the project engineer is also here if you have any questions for him.
We need to open these up with motion at the same time.
If we can get them
Separate motion.
separate motions.
We'll do
for
separate
then.
motions.
Do I have a motion for the site plan for Palmer parking lot expansion?
Sure. I'll do that. Move to approve the site plan for the expansion of the parking lot at the north end of Palmer College of Chiropractic campus, subject to the requirements of the Land Development Code, and designate the city manager as authorized agent for the Port Orange Property Development Incorporated for the purpose of executing all development-related applications for the Palmer Parking Lot Expansion Project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public?
Mayor, board members, Robert Reinhagen, 1425 Dexter Drive, Port Orange. In reviewing this, I found very little discussion about the stormwater. And we're going to have all the parking lot between the two projects. It's going to be two parking lots plus the new building. So there's a lot less permeable ground for stormwater. And I think that needs to be better addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to us. Any other comments from the board?
Not from me.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Don Burnett,
Yes.
Drew Bastian,
Yes.
Scott Stiltner,
Yes.
Marilyn Ford,
Yes.
Chase Tremont.
Yes. All right, do I now have a motion for the approval of the site plan of the architectural design and site plan for building number 4 on the Palmer College of Chiropractic campus?
Certainly. I'll move to approve the architectural design and site plan for Building 4 on the Palmer College of Chiropractic campus, subject to the requirements of the Land Development Code, and designate the city manager as authorized agent for the Port Orange Property Development Incorporated for the purpose of executing all development-related applications for Palmer Building Number 4 project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments from the members of the board? Any comments from the public on this? Hearing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Don Burnett,
Yes.
Drew Bastian,
Yes.
Scott Stiltner,
Yes.
Marilyn Ford,
Yes.
Chase Tremont.
Yes. Any further business of the member directors and design review board?
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to say that I am elated to see Palmer bring this forward. They have been a terrific partner with us over the years, and I cannot wait to be there, to turn some dirt to help get these things rolling.
Yeah, we've had a good partnership with them for sure. All right, there being none, no further business, this joint meeting of the members, boards, directors, and design review board is adjourned.
Yes, sir.
And we resume as council. That brings us all the way to citizen participation. Robin, do I have any?
I received none.
There being none, that goes to council comments. Start with Scott.
We got nothing.
Really?
Yeah, I got none. Not tonight.
Dang. Drew?
Well, wait a minute. No, I'm just.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to see if Drew had anything.
Ah.
Only thing I got is my annual awareness. Bike week pretty much has started. They're already rolling in, so just be extra careful out there. Look twice, check 2 and 3 times, and just be safe. And hopefully we'll have a uneventful bike week.
Hopefully we have nobody running you over.
Exactly.
Chase?
Yeah, I have something I wanted to mention to the folks and something I wanted to read into the record. Port Orange lost one of its own this past week. A dear friend of mine as well, growing up, by the name of Joe McKinney. He grew up here in Port Orange, graduate of Spruce Creek High School, and a long time volunteer in our Parks and Rec program here, and other sports activities as well. He was a good friend, a good man. Really took me under his wing when I was a kid and first started high school. You know, he's the kind of guy that you want in your life that's going to be that encourager. You know, in a world full of people that want to see you fail, it's nice to have someone like Joe in your life that wants you to succeed, no matter who you are, even if you're going against him. He wants to win, but he wants you to do well. And that's what I admired about him as a coach, as a friend, and just as a human being. So he will certainly be missed. And you know, it's interesting. You know, it seems like this is becoming almost a regular up here, where we're reading obituaries into the record, or we're talking about someone that passed. It doesn't happen too often, but it seems like it's a little more often now. But the positive, the upside of that is that that is what makes this community such a first-class place to be, is that you have people that have invested so much of their time and their life into others in this community, doing what the city sponsors, and that's what makes it really what makes us who we are. And the idea that, and I'll mention where his celebration of life is going to be at the All Children's Park on the ball fields, and having a bunch of kids coming out and playing a game as part of the celebration. And the fact that there are people that and there are family members that want the last celebration of their loved one to be at a city-owned park really says a lot about not just this community, but about the people who invest themselves in this community. So with that, his sisters and his mother had written their obituary, and I'd like to read that into the record. Joseph William McKinney, 42, of Port Orange, Florida, died peacefully surrounded by his family on Thursday, February 27th, 2020. Joe was born June 14th, 1977 in Orlando, Florida, and lived in Port Orange most of his life. He was a former resident of Ocala, Florida. Joe graduated from Spruce Creek High School in 1995. He was employed as a manager of North Turn Bar and Grill and was a baseball and cross-country coach, most recently coaching Hard 90 baseball travel team and New Smyrna Beach High School cross-country. Joe had a passion for coaching and helping kids. Even though he didn't have any children of his own, Joe enjoyed making a difference and touched many people's lives. Joe is survived by his mother, Delita D. Holland Glover, and stepfather Barry of Port Orange, Florida, his father, Joseph McKinney, and stepmother Shirley of Sanford, Florida, 3 sisters, Tricia McKinney and partner Michael Turner, Tara Babalak, and husband Brandon of Port Orange, Florida, and Christina Glover of Daytona Beach, Florida, his paternal grandmother, Patricia McKinney of Ocala, Florida, several step-siblings, nieces, nephews, aunts, and uncles. He was preceded in death by his maternal grandparents, William Holland and Louise Holland, and paternal grandfather, Durward McKinney. A celebration of Joey's life will be celebrated on Sunday, March 15th, 2020, at 3 p.m. at All Children's Ball Field, 481 Central Park Boulevard, Port Orange, Florida, 32127. Donations in honor of Joe can be made to the Youth Athletic Charity. With that, God bless the McKinney family. That's all I have, Mayor.
That's plenty. Marilyn, how do you follow that?
By asking council to reconsider the sign ordinance we have. I had a businessman approach me about the prohibition that the city has right now for wind signs, which under Chapter 15, Section 3B9 says that wind signs consisting of one or more pennants, ribbons, spinners, streamers, or captive balloons, or other objects or material fastened in such a manner as to move upon being subject to pressure by wind. And the business person's concern was that their business is located in an area with very little roadway, so they could have a sign, and they would like a wind sign that could at least draw attention. They're willing to take it in and out when they open and close. And when you read the ordinance that we have, we know it's violated frequently. People put balloons out by their mailboxes, to signify they're having a party or a shower. I've seen signs with streamers, so I am bringing this forward hoping that council would be willing to look at our sign ordinance. I don't think it's out of place for a business to be concerned about having something that's movable that could bring their customers in, as long as they do it responsibly.
I want to be careful not to have the conversation tonight.
Correct.
Since it's not been on the agenda. I think we all have an opinion, but can we have that as a discussion item in a future agenda, Jake?
Sure.
Okay.
We just redid the sign ordinance less than a year ago, but we'll bring it back for consideration.
Okay. As a discussion item.
I would appreciate it as the new girl on the block. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay. And I just want to remind everybody that it is 2020, it is March, and within a couple of weeks, you will be getting your notices in the mail about the census. We have had a very large participation rate as a city in the census in the last few decades, and I want to make sure everybody has a heads up that this is the first year you can actually go online to participate in the census if you wish. But that is coming. Want everybody to watch their mailboxes. You should be seeing that in the next couple of weeks. With that, special awards, reports, recognition, proclamations. Item 12, annual report from the Port Orange Community Trust.
So they are.
Do we know those people?
I think we do.
Hello,
Hello, hello.
how are you?
And who are you?
I am Jennifer Moreno, Executive Director of Port Orange Community Trust.
And who are you with?
I am with Terry Fidea. He is our president
Thank you,
once
Terry.
again for the next 2
Oh,
years.
that's their little package.
Please tell me this is nothing of great value.
Of course, that is Port Orange Community Trust.
Okay.
Oh, here's the.
I don't want-
Hey, cool. Thank you.
Looks like shades.
Yes, it does.
That is pretty cool. Shades and family days.
Okay, so we are here to tell you what we've been up to. So I just put a little package together for you. So you can see, you'll see on the second page, I broke down what our donations were this year. And first of all, I want to say thank you, because without you guys supporting us, we just wouldn't be able to do what we do. So you guys know we're well over $1 million now since our inception. This year we gave about $50,000 back to the community. We've supported, so many things. A lot of city programs. We're sponsoring Get Fit. I think we've been the presenting sponsor since we began, since you started that. So we did the kickoff Sunday. We're sponsoring the senior games again. We did it last year as well. So, and last year we also were able to give more to our seniors and our veterans. That was our goal, was to start reaching out beyond, young kids. And I think we've accomplished it, and we're just going to keep going with it. So that's where we're at with that. And of course, we keep sponsoring the movies, and those are all free admission. The skate competition's coming up again this year. We are adding, we added a food truck war, Lakeside Battle of the Food Trucks, which is coming June 21st. But of course, our first big event of the year is coming up in just 3 or 4 weeks. I can't believe it. The 26th to the 29th, we've got the Spring Food Festival, which we've tweaked a little bit, and it's now the Spring Brew and Food Festival. So we've added some elements to that. We're doing some food passports on Friday night. We're also doing craft beer passports on Friday night for a limited time. So that's new, and we've got like over 20 some odd food vendors out there. So we've got a really good variety, and the entertainment this year is absolutely wonderful.
Looking forward to Saturday night.
Oh, the
That's
Aerosmith tribute?
Aerosmith cover band?
Yeah, and then we've got Hayfire on Friday, who's great. And Thursday we've got dueling pianos, and Sunday we've got Gale Force. So, and then we've got Reed Foley in the beer garden. We've got Just in Time in the beer garden. So we've done a lot with the entertainment this year.
When are you going to bring Frank Sinatra?
Huh?
When are you going to bring a Sinatra guy?
Okay, let's not even start that here, because I already went head to head with our entertainment chair over that. Because I'm thinking Sunday's a great day for some Frank Sinatra.
Absolutely.
That's just, okay,
My
maybe
daughter and I
next.
listen to it every night before she goes to bed. 3-year-olds love
I
Frank.
love
So
Frank.
it's-
I'm with ya.
He's all ages.
I know.
Chase, you got to get that guy that did the America's Got Talent with that Sal Valentinetti. He's the.
I tried
like-
contacting him because you told me about that.
Yeah,
I
he's
tried
the-
contacting him and
yeah.
I couldn't get him.
No.
Now I talked to his agent, but I couldn't
Okay.
do it.
Yeah,
But
he-
I was thinking a little Rat Pack.
He'd be
you
good.
know,
That's it's good stuff.
there's some good tributes around,
Yeah.
so it'll happen.
Nice.
Do you guys have any questions for us, or any more information I can give you?
We're gonna hear from the president?
Sure you
Yeah,
can.
we got to hear from
Terry, you're up.
too.
Well, the only thing I can tell you is going on, this is our 25th year.
Oh yeah.
So we will be doing
Wow.
something
All
to
right.
honor that in the Fall Family Days Festival. We haven't decided whether it's fireworks, whether we just haven't gotten there yet. but we are planning that right after this event takes place. And we, like Jennifer said, we appreciate everything the council and the city does for us, including one of our newest board members over here, who takes our notes just like she does for you guys.
Can't get away from it.
But yeah,
Roped
so
her in, did you?
yeah, got it. And hopefully these new events continue to evolve into bigger events. And I agree, Frank Sinatra. I'll make it happen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be my
He's the
goal.
president now.
You heard
He
it
gets
here.
up- he can get it done.
Thank you.
Are you guys,
Keep going.
are you guys maxed out on volunteers? You got everybody you need, or you guys still look for volunteers? Or
Oh, we can always use volunteers,
And I-
especially in the spring because it works out around spring break, so it's hard. There's a lot of people away and just people coming back from vacation, and
I'll sign you up.
so spring
We
is.
got volunteers for the event or to be on the board also?
Well, both, because I mean, I think from time to time, people in the community are looking for things to get involved in and
Yes,
organizations.
absolutely.
And what's the best way for them to
They can
to
go-
see what's available? And
Port Orange Community Trust Facebook page. We have a link there where people can sign up to volunteer.
Okay.
And then we select board members, we look for people that have volunteered for
Mhm.
the previous year, so.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
Drew, questions?
No, I don't have any. Good job. Looking forward to that food truck battle.
Oh, I can't wait for it. We're gonna need some judges.
As soon as I hear the word food truck, my immediate response is Drew Baxter. Drew Baxter.
I will
It's
kill
Pavlov
Yeah.
response. Just congratulations to 25 years. I mean,
Thank you.
guys really do a tremendous service to the community, and over $1 million donated. 49,000 last year, cash in hand to people that need it. And you thank you for the contribution to the veterans organizations. that
Oh,
are
you're
part of
welcome.
it.
That
It's
was
just
really good. Yeah.
really cool to watch it happen. And knowing where those funds go is especially neat. So, thanks so much for what you guys do.
You are welcome.
Marilyn?
Thank you for your support.
I would just echo everybody's comments. I think it's a great thing for our community, and I think it's been a model for other cities. So I think, once again, Port Orange leads the way.
Yeah, and I have to tell you this one little story. So I don't know how many of you know the Children's Academy of Fine Arts. They're located at the Methodist Church. And we gave them money a couple of years ago. And I texted my board as soon as this happened because this little girl, so they didn't know I was coming with a check. And of course I come with a big check. And unfortunately no board members could go with me. So I announced, I'm like, oh, so she just introduced me. They didn't know what they were getting. So I told them that we were giving them money. And this little girl starts to cry. And I told I got a group text going and I was like, look guys, this is why we do what we do. Because this girl was just like, oh my gosh, I don't believe they're so generous. And she's 9. So it really makes a difference. So thank you for all your help.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Wait a second, I didn't get my turn.
You can't.
Yeah.
Mayor, did you have anything you wanted to
Do
add?
you have something to say, sir?
Thank you, Scott. Well, I did, but it's all been said, except my own heartfelt thank you for making a difference.
They'll catch on
Don't lose
fire.
shades.
25 years old, you look great, don't you, Shades? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Keep making a difference. Police pension, that brings us to board appointments, interviews, reports. Police pension board appointments. Item 13. I would entertain motions at this point for the police pension board reappointment.
Okay, gotcha. Move to reappoint Brian Cobb to the Police Pension Board.
Second.
Do we have any other nominations? Being none, nominations are closed. I don't see Brian here. So he doesn't get to speak for himself, so we could speak illy of him and he can't defend himself, right? Anyone like to speak on Brian's behalf, or is there any reasons why we should not appoint?
Well, I currently serve on that board with him, and he's done a great job. He has a financial planning background, and he's a good set of eyes to have, on the board and in that position. So, and also he's willing to serve. He's been serving, I think, 16, I think, is when he was initially appointed. And we didn't have any other volunteers, so I'd say let's keep Brian. He's willing to do it.
Well, I agree. That is a position where the longer you serve, the more you learn.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is something
Yeah.
that you don't show up knowing it. just for those of you that want a little history on that, both the police pension board and the fire pension board, the union or the organization, they send 2 people. They have 2 seats. The city has 2 seats, and then there's one person. That 5th seat is supposed to be somebody that is appointed from the community that both parties agree to. And ideally, we want somebody with a financial background. You don't want to just appoint Joe Volunteer to something of that importance. And we are fortunate with both the police and the fire pension board to have somebody with that kind of background, and not to mention somebody with a great reputation like Brian has. So that 5th position is what we're trying to fill right now. So you've taken good notes, right, Colin? Just saying, just because we have a scout in the audience who's here working on a badge, so he's got to get his 411 in here. Any other comments? There being none, call the roll.
Councilmember Ford.
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont.
Yes.
Councilmember Stiltner.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bastian.
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes, 5-0. He's been rehired. I hope he likes our benefits. Regular agenda, item 14 is first reading of ordinance number 2020-4, ex officio duties of City Council. Ordinance number 2020-4 is an ordinance of the City of Port Orange, Volusia County, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Article 2 of the Code of Ordinances to establish Section 2-33, providing for the ex officio duties of City Council, providing for codification, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Move to approve ordinance number 2020-4.
Second. We have a motion, a proper second. The item's open on the floor for discussion. Jake?
Sure.
Who wants to tell us what this is?
I would defer to the city attorney, please.
Okay. Matt?
So thank you. We're bringing this one to you because there's some Attorney General guidance out there that indicates that when the council members serve on these boards, which can be offices in and of themselves, it be clarified that that's done in an ex officio capacity to their membership on the council. So that's the only reason we're bringing this forward. It's just to kind of follow that guidance that's been put out there by the Attorney General.
So that there's no duality?
No dual office holding.
Okay.
Basically a housekeeping issue.
To some degree. Any questions on that? Anyone here care to speak to the item? Come on up, Robert.
Mayor, council members, Robert Reinhagen, 1425 Dexter Drive North. You just sat as the Port Orange Property Development Incorporated. And I know I've seen you sit as the Eastport CRA. So my question is, are these also ex officio positions?
Mm-hmm.
And if not, why are they not on this? Why are they not included in this? Or are they these dual holdings that are unlawful? I think
They are included in this.
they are included. I didn't.
Those are ex officio.
But
they don't
they're not mentioned.
Yeah, these, so just to,
Does that go under the any other?
you don't have to have them for every position that you may hold in a CRA, in an incorporation. The law kind of tells you that there's certain positions that are in fact an office that would apply to this prohibition on dual office holding. So those aren't within the.
So things like
The
this,
definition.
CRAs
They
are
don't
covered
count.
by state statute?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's no dual office holding issues there. I'd let you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Anyone else? There being none, back to us. Final comments or questions or debate?
Okay.
There being none, call the roll.
Councilmember Ford.
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont.
Yes.
Councilmember Stiltner.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bastian.
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes, 5-0. Brings us to the city attorney.
So I just have one proposed revision to the local rules. This is a procedural amendment to basically incorporate automatically the staff's recommended motions. What happens in some of these meetings, we have maybe a motion made late at night that just says approval of the item number or maybe the item title. These recommended motions are prepared as part of your agenda, and what we're proposing is that any motion made to approve a the consent agenda or an item simply by the number or the title, incorporate those recommended motions unless you specify otherwise.
Okay. Any questions about that, council?
No.
So, do you need a motion to that effect, Matt?
Yes, I'd like you to move to approve the addition to the local rules. I think it's Roman numeral 3. Golly, a lot of indexing here. A9G, as shown in the agenda item.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Council discussion? There being none, anyone here care to speak to the item? There being none, back to us. Final comments? Questions, debate? Being none, call the question.
Councilmember Ford.
Yes.
Councilmember Tremont.
Yes.
Councilmember Stiltner.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bastian.
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes, 5-0. What else you got, Matt?
That's all I have tonight.
That's all you have. Okay. City Manager?
Yes, sir, I have 3 items tonight. The first one, I'd like to invite Chief Grimaldi up to speak.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Chief Tom Grimaldi, Port Orange Police Department. Stand before you tonight just to bring forward some bad news. We lost one of our previous detectives that used to work for us. He recently retired, Barry Marat. And I know many of you already know about this. I know, Scott, thank you for reaching out this weekend. 3:30, one day this weekend, I can't remember which night it was, my phone rang, and unfortunately we were able to positively identify Barry Marat as an individual who was involved in an accident, a crash on his motorcycle. He died of the injuries, and if you knew Barry, Barry was a fun-loving guy. And he was quite the character, quite frankly. And Barry's, I will tell you, his entire adult life was dedicated to public service. He served 21 years in the United States Air Force. He left the Air Force, served 4 years in the Biloxi, Mississippi Police Department. He stayed with Biloxi through Hurricane Katrina, knowing that he lost his house. He lost everything that he owned. He stayed there until they got up and running. And I had this discussion with him. He told me the story. And he stayed for months, knowing that he lost everything. But he needed to get them back up and running. And then when they were getting back to normal operations, or so-called normal operations, that's when he decided, I have nothing to go back to. He decided to, somehow he found Port Orange, Florida. He came to Port Orange, Florida, was hired with us. He served in our department for 12 years. The last 2.5 as a detective. I promoted him to detective. Right away, I picked up on his hard work and behavior, and how he attacked this job and how he served the public. So I wanted to bring that up. I know many of you already know it. Just want to bring that up. There will be a celebration of life, and it really will be a celebration of his life this Saturday at Volusia Memorial on Clyde Morris at 12 noon. We anticipate quite a crowd, so we're going to balance that with the beginning of Bike Week and everything. It's been a real hectic week for us. A lot of our officers, a lot of our detectives, still socialize daily with Barry, so it's hit us pretty hard. But like I said, everybody is kind of looking at the bright side and looking at the, remembering the good times and remembering how Barry was. I know, Scott, I know you worked with him. And so like I said, he was full of life. And in fact, I will tell you, talk about more public service. When he retired from us, he didn't really retire. He went to work for Halifax Memorial Hospital, or Halifax Hospital, and security.
Yeah.
So he was still serving the public and serving Halifax Hospital as well. But his entire adult life was dedicated to public service, and truly a great loss. Not only to our profession, but to our community. So I wanted to bring that up. And Jake, thank you for allowing me to address the council.
Chief, one more time. It's Saturday, March 7th at noon.
Saturday, March 7th at noon
Okay.
at Volusia Memorial on Clyde Morris
Right, okay.
Boulevard.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Chief,
I'll
I'm
be
out of
there.
town this weekend. I would have loved to have been there, but I'm truly sorry for your
Thank
loss.
you for saying that. Thank you.
I will be there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Second item, sir, I have a feral cat program update. I know that some of CCFAW may or may not have emailed you all. We are still in negotiations with Halifax Humane Society and therefore Redinger Clinic on a contract to get started so we can start the TNR program again. They continue to send us statements, bills, indications of how many feral cats they've neutered, but we have not yet paid a bill because we don't have a contract with them. So we're in negotiations with Halifax Humane right now. We hope to wrap that up soon. We're wrapping up the ordinance, and we're going to wrap up most of the steps of the program and how it's going to work, and we should get that to council here in the next month or month and a half. And then we'll move forward with that. But until we have a contract with Halifax Humane, we're kind of at a standstill with that.
Hey, Jake,
So,
real
yes, sir.
quick, and this might be a question for later, but I'll ask so you can tell me. Are we going to a situation where we're having a reduced number of colonies, and if so, what does the person need to do to register that? When do they need to act on that?
As soon as our program becomes available. Right now, we're not registering any colonies. We still get the letters from CCFAW indicating that there are more colonies coming, but if you recall, we kind of agreed that we'd do some training and approval of the colonies. So right now, we don't have a program, but nobody's been approved. So the city doesn't recognize any of those as far as recognition of the colony and possible help or guidance on that. I expect that the colonies will continue to exist without the training in some way, shape, or form for a little while until we can get control and get the right kind of people out there to monitor these colonies. So there were anywhere from 100 to 300 of them last time we checked. So it's going to be a hard task to get those down to a number that we can monitor successfully. But that is the intent.
Any other questions?
Any other questions on feral cats?
On that item, any other questions?
Yes, sir.
I don't see anybody. Go ahead, Jake. Next one.
Last one, sir. Eastport CRA has 2 additional seats on the CRA. They've been vacant for a while. I'm going to go out and try to shake the trees, see if we can find some business owners within the Eastport CRA, get somebody appointed here, hopefully at the next meeting. So we have some options, but everybody knows where Eastport CRA is. Things that I would request council's help on is getting some folks in there to have an interest. Mead and Hunt, Don Bell Signs, Pilatus Law Firm. There's a couple businesses out there. There's a lot of businesses out there that might be willing to get it. So if you have any buddies in the Eastport CRA, please reach out to them and ask them to participate if they're able. That's all I have.
Okay. Council committee reports. See, Art House had a little annual thing that I wasn't able to make it this year.
Yes, on February 21st, they had their annual meeting. They had a pretty good turnout, and they've had quite a successful year in terms of their fundraising, which by and large comes from private citizens, and a couple events that they have. One of the new initiatives in 2019 that is continuing for 2020 is they've partnered with several community groups such as Pace Center for Girls, Boys and Girls Club, and Easter Seals. And so they are not just only offering art camps at their offices, they're going out to community agencies and offering art there. They also offer art classes for adults, so I'll just put that out there. They don't happen as frequently, and it generally is on a weekend, on a Saturday, but they are a wonderful group in terms of demonstrating the value of art in the schools and in our community. And that pretty much concludes my report for Art House. Our next board meeting is in a couple weeks, so their schedule is changed this year,
Yeah.
so it's been in flux. I'll let you know when it is so you can schedule it more
Okay, great, thanks.
regularly.
Okay. River to Sea, TPO.
A lot of presentations going on right now. There's an interesting one that got pushed over to the next meeting for further discussion where it looks like there's going to be some obligation from the state for the different TPO districts to create a sea level rise forecast and to be able to kind of have that. And there's some heartache over that across the state with the different TPO districts because there's going to be a funding mechanism involved. And so we're in a period of time where there's already not a lot of funding available for road and highway projects, yet they want to start setting aside and forecasting money that's going to kind of go towards a sea level rise program. So look for more information to follow on that. Also, they're in the process of finalizing and putting together the Tell the TPO survey, which is something that I think we as a city and definitely as a council, when that comes and it's live, we need to really be pushing that out to our residents. We all know the frustration with traffic, and we're always having to tell the story about certain roads not being city roads and being state roads. And so this is the opportunity, this is the time for us to, when that goes live, to push that out through all avenues and encourage residents to get on there and do the survey. And they showed some of the questions, and it's some of it's pretty generalized about what kind of traffic, what do you use to for transportation, and are you using public? Is it all private and different things like that? But there's some elements in there that will be really particular to a lot of the concerns we seem to get across the board here in the city. Also, and this is really important, as they all are, but Monday, March 30th at the Brannan Center in New Smyrna Beach, Florida Department of Transportation will be hosting a public meeting. They're inviting elected officials as well as residents. This particular meeting will be in regards to the I-95 Pioneer Trail interchange project. Jake, we probably could really use some talking points and some stuff from your staff. As we sit now, what kind of issues do we still see? What are a lot of the staff concerns that have been identified? Just so we can, as we're sitting in this particular meeting, kind of pick up on some things and listen for some of those discussions. I haven't seen the presentation. I don't know what they're going to present on March 30th, but we probably need to dust off some of those discussions, and at least from our side of it. I know this is a unique project because, man, it splits right on that line between us and New Smyrna. So there's a lot of interest in here between Port Orange residents, New Smyrna residents, county, the whole 9 yards, as well as the state. So that's going to be Monday, March 30th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Brannan Center in New Smyrna is where that will be held.
Okay. Anything else?
Not on that.
Brings us to the General Employee Pension Plan.
Pretty quick meeting. Just I'll mention again, we are still looking to fill a citizen board member on that. We would really like to have somebody that's got some experience in the finance world. If we can find that, we're
Somebody
gonna
like a Brian Cobb.
somebody like a Brian Cobb and others. So
I actually
Yeah,
think I got him or
Okay.
her.
Yeah. So my gut instinct
Not Brian.
is that the city manager will probably be able to try to identify somebody who
Yeah.
might be a good fit for that. So, but in any event, if anybody knows anybody that's interested or they are interested, that's a great board to sit on, and it's a good group. So we would welcome that. That's all I got.
Okay. Fire Pension Plan.
We met 2 weeks ago on February 18th, and we'll be holding a special meeting the third week of this month. Currently, the fire pension plan is 65.6% funded, its obligation, which is an increase over last year, so that's the good news.
At least it was until this past week.
Well, yeah, I know. But things are gonna go up and down. And
Absolutely.
their investment vehicles, the report from the gentleman who handles that has been very positive. They made a change last year from one fund into something called Poland, and generally all the metrics are that it was doing very well. It's a diversified portfolio, so it's gonna maximize in a lot of different ways as the stock market goes up and down. Our special meeting is to look at some payouts for people that have retired. There was there's a question about how it was done between 2012, 16, and currently. And some of the changes in terms of what it takes for firefighters to vest. And so the Fire Pension Board has asked the financial guy to give us some using real data so we can understand with real people what's the implication of how things have shaken out and is it the correct way. So.
Okay. And police pension plan.
Okay, police plan, we had February 19th at 9 a.m. in the morning, we had that meeting, so it was a short time ago. The performance for the quarter was 6.2% net of fees, so that's pretty respectable for a quarter. For the year, it was just shy of 20%. So that's looking good. When they closed the fiscal year, the plan held about 41.5 million. By the end of the quarter, we were sitting at about 43.3 million. It's 74+% funded. February 19th, the value was 45.1 million, and obviously we've had some give back, but we're still above the, we're sitting a little over the 43.3 million with the give back. So, you know, it comes and it goes, but the plan continues to grow slowly but surely, and it is moving in a positive direction. And like I said, over 74% funded. So it's you know, the changes that were made hurt, but clearly the plan is progressing as it should, even with the ups and downs. So we're doing good there.
Okay. And I just wanted to preview something. Next week, the Volusia Elected Officials Roundtables meets on Monday. I requested that the Volusia County Health Department give us a update and presentation on Corona and how it's going to impact us locally, and what their expectations are and what our preparation level is. So hopefully they'll give us some good information. I'll be reporting back to council after that meeting on that and everything else. Before we wrap up, Colin, come on up here for a second. Do me a favor, tell everybody up here who you are and why you're here tonight.
My name's Colin Hand. I'm here tonight to finish my communications merit badge for Boy Scouts.
All right, and what'd you learn tonight?
I learned how these meetings go, which is pretty fun and not as stressful as you think it would be.
Well, with this agenda,
You had it easy, yeah.
We'll invite you back.
Colin.
Sitting in the audience is probably
Yeah, come on,
easier
swap
than
chairs.
being up there.
Trade seats with Jake for a little while.
There may be a day and a time when you may be up here.
Probably
And
not.
You never know. Never say never.
Don't rule
We
it
need
out.
you. So, was it a good experience for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate you coming tonight.
Thanks, Colin.
Wait a second. You got to come back here. Colin? Turn around and let your mom take the picture the right way.
You have proof
There you
now
go.
that you were here.
And with that, we are adjourned.